Good, perfect. So welcome to this encounter. This is the second web conference for the English 3 course. My name is Kelly Marixa Fajardo. I am the course director for English 3. Remember, these web conferences are some face-to-face meetings for talking about the activity guide, for talking about generalities concerning the English 3 course, for asking questions, for expressing doubts. So throughout the encounters, throughout the meeting, you are allowed to use your microphone if you want to ask some questions, or you can also use the chat for asking or saying comments. Okay, so welcome to the second web conference for this course. So today we will talk about some special activities in this course. For example, the synchronous support with the CPAS online tutor. We will also clarify some doubts concerning speaking sessions. And then we will talk about task number 4, which is a submission task, and the task number 5, which is activities. So let's start. Remember, you can access to information about synchronous support like this space in the initial information environment. So when you go to the initial information environment, you find the synchronous web conference meeting schedule and the synchronous support. Also, in here, in the synchronous web conference meetings, you can find schedule for getting to participate in the CPAS online tutor. This CPAS online tutor is guided by the tutors here in the English course, and these CPAS are created for clarifying some specific topics, grammar topics, communicative topics related to the English course, and they are voluntary, so you decide if you join these CPAS or not, and you won't get any score or any grade will be related to these CPAS, ¿ok? Estos CPAS son de participación voluntaria no calificable, como dice en la imagen, son los CPAS Online Tutor, voluntarios guiados por docentes para aclarar temas, por ejemplo, gramaticales o comunicativos que encontramos en nuestras guías de aprendizaje. ¿Dónde encontramos este horario? En el espacio de Synchronous Web Conference Meetings. Al final de la página encontramos el horario. So the schedule for online tutor CPAS is this one for this period. So we have had 3 CPAS before. We started with modal verbs, which was on September. Then we continued with conditionals, third conditionals. This was guided by Professor Mideros. And the third one was zero and first conditional by Mideros as well. And we will have the fourth CPAS about conditional, second conditional, on October 2nd of this year, okay? So these CPAS will be guided by Professor Alcalá, Diana Patricia Alcalá, okay? Remember, this is a voluntary attendance. This is just because you want to continue learning, because you want to practice a little more about these grammar issues, and you won't get any score, but it's important to participate in those encounters because, of course, it will help you to practice and to better understand the topics. Okay, so remember you find this schedule on the synchronous support environment, the initial information environment. Careful because these CPAS are different from the speaking sessions. Okay, those are different spaces. So let's see. Before explaining the speaking sessions, you will find the synchronous support schedule on Teams. Those are your tutors. And this is me, the course director, which I am also a tutor. And this is the schedule where we can talk to you face to face, monitoring or support. Okay, so please, in case you need something, just so you can just write your tutor in the schedule and they will help you. So now I know maybe you have questions, doubts, some concerns about the speaking sessions. So we know those are different from web conference. These meetings are different from the CPAS online tutors, and the speaking sessions are the ones that will give you a score. Okay, so by participating in the speaking sessions, you will get 30 points on task number 4 and 30 points on task number 6. Okay, so remember, during task number 2 and right now, you are scribing. Ok, en este momento les informo, está abierto el enlace de inscripción para los speaking session. Recuerden que este sí tendrá calificación y este enlace va a estar abierto, según me informa la coordinadora de los encuentros, hasta el 5 de octubre. Entonces aprovechen, quienes no hayan alcanzado a inscribirse la primera fecha, pueden inscribirse en este momento. Una duda común, bueno, yo me inscribo, ¿cuánto tiempo después debo esperar para iniciar con mis encuentros? Por experiencia, se demoran entre 1 a 2 semanas después de que te inscribes para que te manden la información para participar en estas speaking sessions. Puede que algunos de ustedes ya hayan iniciado, perfecto, puede que otros no. ¿Dónde tenemos que ver la información? Si nos inscribimos al formulario, a nuestro correo institucional, el institucional, es decir, el que termina en @unadvirtual.edu.co, allí nos van a enviar la información, o también a nuestro chat o aplicación de equipos en Teams. Ahí también puede que nos agreguen algún equipo, que nos agreguen algún chat. Así que deben estar pendientes. Lo ideal es que en estos encuentros van a formar esos subgrupos. Ustedes les dicen, bueno, vamos a empezar tal día de acuerdo al horario en que ustedes se inscribieron y que pues haya esa continuidad semana a semana. Lo normal es que sean 2 encuentros semanales. Entonces no se vayan a confundir con los tipos de online tutor. Es un espacio diferente, no se vayan a confundir con estas web conferencias, porque en este espacio está la directora de curso y aquí hablamos sobre la guía específicamente y sobre generalidades del curso. Por su parte, los speaking sessions son encuentros específicamente para practicar speaking y son encuentros cuya participación les va a dar 30 puntos en tarea 4 y 30 puntos en tarea 6. Entonces miren todos los espacios de acompañamiento que tenemos. Esas speaking sessions que son las calificables, las web conferencias que son generales, son solo 3 a lo largo del periodo. Esta es la segunda. Las CIPAS Online Tutor, que son con cada uno de los tutores del curso, donde aclaramos temas un poco más complejos del curso, como temas gramaticales. Y el, el apoyo sincrónico con los tutores, que para eso tenemos el horario de atención, ¿cierto? Que es este. Entonces son 4 espacios diferentes. De esos, el único que tiene calificación es Speaking Session. Listo. So let me know if you have questions, concerns about the information that I just provided, that I just shared.
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
En la agenda dice que es individual, pero en la guía dice que es colaborativo, en la tarea TATFU.
The task number 4. So let me see the activity guide.
Thank you.
This task. Yeah,
Task
there
number
is a
4.
mistake. Yeah, there is a mistake in the agenda. Oh, Jesus, yeah. Yeah, there is a mistake. That's a mistake in the agenda. I'm so sorry. Y ya no la puedo corregir. Pero
But
you
it's
need to guide.
collaborative or
Yeah.
individual?
Yeah, the activity task for is collaborative. Yeah, you need to work
Thank
in
you.
group. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
So
thank you.
let's continue. I will explain step by step of this guide. Okay. Where is my presentation? Okay. Good. Even though, so remember, this task number 4 is collaborative and you will have till October 20th for finishing the task. Remember that immediately after finishing the task number 4, you will start developing the test, the task 5, which is a test. So this test, you will have around a week for developing that test, the online test. So this task has two parts. The first part is individual and the second part is collaborative. This is why this is a collaborative activity. Okay, so in general, you will write the description of a teacher, you will do a reading aloud exercise, and you will create a supporting material. Okay, this is the individual part of the task. In this part, remember you will practice about using the comparison, the comparative. You will talk about the skills and teaching methods of your past teachers. Remember that in the previous task, in task 2, you talk about your teachers, right? Your English teachers. So here you're gonna select just one of those teachers. Okay? For the task number 4, you are gonna select one teacher from the ones that you mentioned in the previous task. You will select one teacher. Once you have selected that teacher, you will describe him or will describe her. Okay? How? You will answer these items for describing that teacher. For example, you will talk about how your teacher communicated and explained the concepts. You will describe how she or he communicated and explained the activities, how she or he explained the concepts to you. Your teacher's classroom management techniques. Okay. You will also describe how your teacher used technology or teaching aids or teaching supports materials, and how your teacher engage and motivate the students. What kind of activities did they used to do for increasing motivation? And you will write about any impact it had on the students' engagement on learning. So what was the impact of those activities implemented by the teacher in the students' engagement? Okay, so these are like guidelines. So the idea is that you mention these characteristics of your teacher, the selected teacher, and that you write a full test. Once you have the test, you share it in the forum. Okay, so she shared the written test in the forum. Remember, this first part is individual. First, we will do the individual part. Here we have an example. This is an example of a description of my professor. He was called Sergio. And I am describing communication and explanation skills that he had. Okay, so this test is an example of how you can describe your teacher. Okay, so I don't know, maybe one of you, maybe somebody would like to read the test aloud, to read the example, maybe.
Can I do it?
Yeah.
Okay, for example, communication and explanation skills. Sergio is a dynamic teacher English. So it's a dynamic English teacher. He makes complex grammar rules and vocabulary accessible to students of all levels. For example, during a lesson on the past simple tense, he used I don't know how to pronounce storytelling and visual aids to illustrate the use of irregular verb, making it easier for the student to understand and remember.
Thank you. Perfect. So if you see here, we can't we can mention a specific example. Okay, like in here we have that Sergio used the storytelling, that Sergio used visual aids to illustrate different things, in this case the irregular verbs. And maybe this is one of the things that I remember the most, yeah, from Sergio, from my teacher. So in the same case, you can remember those activities and you can explain how your teacher used and how is this related to the communication and the explanation skills, right? In this part, I am explaining that he makes complex grammar rules and vocabulary accessible. So I am explaining here that even though grammar rules and maybe some vocabulary is hard to understand or hard to learn, so my teacher was able to change it or to modify it or to explain it in a way, in step by step, that I was able to learn it. Okay, so that's the example that I wanted to show you. So you can write a short example, a short paragraph like this one for explaining each one of these characteristics. So you don't need to write a complete essay, you just can write a short description for explaining each one of these characteristics that I suggest you to develop, okay, or to describe about your teacher. So once you have your text, remember that you need to share it in the forum, okay, in the forum for task number 4. And then you will do the reading aloud exercise. So in the activity guide, I suggested this app for you to paste the test and listen to the pronunciation. However, if it doesn't work, maybe you can use any other app or any other web page that allows you to listen to the pronunciation to help you to know how you will pronounce the test. Okay, so here I am sharing a bank of resources. I will share this presentation to you at the end of the web conference. So in here, you will find some additional web pages that you can use for listening how to pronounce the test. Okay, except to this to phonetics.com because this is the phonetic alphabet. So in case you are advanced students, in case you manage the phonetics alphabet, you can use this one. I suggest, for instance, let me see, read loud. Let me see if I can use, for instance, here. Okay, good. This is a readloud.net. So this is an example of how you can use the web page. So here you can delete this test and let's copy and paste the previous example. Let me see if I can do it right here. I will copy this test in the web page for listening to the pronunciation. So here we have. So once you have the test, you will copy the test on any of these web pages that allow you to listen to the pronunciation. like in this example. In this one, let me see if I am sharing my audio. Mm. This device. I guess I wasn't sharing my audio. This one. Okay, good. So let's listen to this example.
Communication and explanation skills. Sergio is a dynamic English teacher. He makes complex grammar rules and vocabulary accessible to students of all levels. For example, during a lesson on the past simple tense, he used storytelling and visual aids to illustrate the use of irregular verbs, making it easier for students to understand and remember.
Did you listen to the audio?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. So you don't need to select this voice. You can, if you want to, you can select maybe a woman voice if you prefer, like Sally, and you generate the audio for that test. So this exercise is that, or the objective of this exercise is that you can listen to and then you can pronounce, okay? Because the next step it's you to record your voice, okay? For recording your voice, you can use, for instance, Vocaroo or any other app that let you to record the voice and to share the recording through a link, okay? So you can use the app that you prefer, only that you need to be sure that you can record your voice and that you can provide a link for accessing the recording, okay? So those are the steps, the individual part of this task. First, describing the tutor. Okay. Second, listening to the pronunciation of the test that you just wrote. Then recording your voice while reading the test. And finally, post, of course, the test and the record of your voice in the forum. That's the individual part. En esta parte sí vamos a leer, porque lo que vamos a escuchar no es tanto una explicación, sino queremos escuchar su pronunciación. Por eso es importante que usen alguna de las ayudas para que sepamos cómo vamos a pronunciar ese texto que nosotros escribimos. ¿Ok? So you can use, here I have translate Google, so if you need it, you can use it as well, but not for translating, but for listening to the pronunciation, okay? So please be honest with your own learning process. So the bank of resources here is just for listening to the pronunciation of the test that you wrote, not for translating. Okay, that's the individual part. So please let me know. Do you have questions? Do you need to, maybe you want me to better explain any of the steps for this individual part?
No, tutor, it's clear.
It's clear. Okay. What about the others? So let me see here in the chat if we have. Maria Alejandra is asking for the links. Yeah, of course. I will send you the links, of course. Yeah, Maria Alejandra. Good. So once you have developed the first part, the individual part of the task, you will continue with the funny part, with the collaborative activity. So here you will analyze and discuss. So using the test that you write before, you will create, it can be a visual aid, a PowerPoint presentation, a Genially presentation, I don't know, a poster, a slide, the visual aid that you need. Okay, this is gonna be a supporting material because you will explain to your partners how your teacher was. Okay, you will describe your teacher to your partners in a synchronous meeting. So you need to meet your partners, and in the meeting you will describe your teacher, okay, by using a supporting material. In that meeting as well, you will discuss with your partners about which teachers were strong in certain skills or methods. And you will discuss about the common aspects or the differences between the teachers, okay? Of course, after having discussing about the the approaches that the teacher use or the activities or the way of teaching of each one of your teachers, of course, I hope you have learned some lessons, okay, about effective teaching strategies. So you will talk about what did you learn about those strategies. And as a group, you will talk about or you will propose an innovative didactic teaching methods. You're gonna say, okay, teacher, that's too difficult, but it easy. It is easy, okay? It isn't too difficult. So I will give you an example. This is a short example about a group discussion that you can leave in your synchronous meeting. So let me see, maybe who wants to be student A? Remember, this is just an example. We're going to read it. Maybe if one of you wants to be student A, who wants to be the student B, student C, and the student D, and we can recreate here, we can perform this example. ¿Quién se anima? De pronto vamos a recrear este ejemplo. ¿Quién quiere leer la parte de student A? ¿Quién
Yo,
quiere leer student B? ¿Quién dijo yo?
Sauri.
Shaori, student A. Joana por aquí levantó la mano, student B. I can see it. Who else? Let me see. Maybe let me see. Carlos Alberto, can you be student C? And Diana Carolina Caro, would you like to be a student D? So let's start. Student A.
Sorry for my voice. Soy un poco enferma.
Don't worry.
Okay. Student A. I think teacher Maria was very strong in communication. She always explained grammar in clear samples. She was clear in communication than teacher John.
Good, perfect. Student B. Joanna, I guess. I don't remember.
¿Lo puedo leer, profe?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, but teacher John was better in classroom management. He was stricter and used mod games to keep the students focused.
Okay, student C.
Students, I agree also. Both a teacher used technology but in different ways. Maria used PowerPoint while John used only quizzes.
And the student D.
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
so we learned that good teacher makes clear explanation. Videos that keep a student engaged.
Good. Perfect. So this is the example of a possible conversation that you maybe could leave in your group discussion. So here, when student A says, I think teacher Maria was very strong in communication. She always explained grammar with clear examples. So note here that we are practicing, for example, the comparisons between teachers. Okay, she was clearer in communication than teacher John. Good. Yes, but teacher John was better in classroom management. He was stricter and used more games to keep students focused. So here we are also comparing, okay, the strategies, the use of maybe classroom management, the use of different activities like games, gamification. Good. So since C, I agree, also both teachers used technology, but in different ways. Maria used PowerPoint while John used online quizzes. So here we have just some examples how they use technology aids. And then this, so we learned that good teachers mix clear explanation with activities that keep students engaged. So how our teachers use the activities or proposes different actions to increase motivation, okay? So this is just an example. Of course, you and your discussions with your partners in the group, you will have something more natural, okay? Less script and more natural. But the idea is that you focus the discussion on these aspects, okay? Use the material that you create, use the description of your teachers, okay, and compare them. And of course, at the end of the discussion, you will give a conclusion, a grouped conclusion. And here we have these short examples. We propose the conclusion. See that the conclusion is the innovative didactic teaching method, okay? This is the conclusion. We propose an innovative method called storytelling with technology. Students create short stories in English and use digital tools like videos or slides to present them. This method helps with speaking, creativity, and motivation, okay? So this is the example of the innovative didactic teaching method. So the innovative didactic teaching method is the conclusion of your discussion, okay? Where you propose a method or a step-by-step, or you give some suggestions about how to teach English in a better way, okay? According to what you have learned throughout the discussion, okay? So you need to practice, of course. You need to talk about how you will develop the discussion, and you need to take some time for meeting as a group, okay? The idea is not that any one of you record an individual video and then you put them together and send it to your tutor. No, the idea is that you meet with your partners in a synchronous discussion, okay? That you can explain to your partner how your teacher was, and that you can listen to your partners, okay? So that's the idea, okay? This is the collaborative part of the activity. Of course, you will record the discussion, okay? You will record this conversation and you will send the PDF. Remember that when we work in a collaborative activity, only one member of the group must upload the PDF document to the evaluation environment, okay? So the PDF document must contains the cover page, the teacher description compilation, and the links to the audio recording of each one of the members of the group, and finally the link of recording for the collaborative meetings, the group discussion, okay? This is the PDF, the group PDF, Okay, this is what the group PDF must contain. And remember that in the forum, you must post evidence of your participation in the meeting, and that you can post the individual part also in the forum so you can get feedback. But the PDF must contain these three aspects. Good. So if you see, you will develop both an individual part and a collaborative activity in task number 4, but the final product is collaborative, okay? So please let me know if you have questions. So I see here Shaori is raising her hand. Come on, Shaori.
Yes, I have a question. ¿Cuánto debe durar como mínimo la videoconferencia con nuestros compañeros?
Bueno, pues eso puede variar, ¿cierto? Porque lo ideal es que estén participando los 5 compañeros y que todos tengan al menos 1 minuto de conversación, ¿cierto? Mínimo, yo diría 5 minutos, mínimo. Obviamente tampoco quiero que se extiendan a 1 hora, porque imagínense escuchar 1 hora por cada uno. Diría que 5 a 20 minutos máximo es el rango, ¿cierto? Entonces, 20 minutos de pronto en los que ya se sienten un poco más cómodos y quieren ampliar más las ideas, ¿cierto? Mínimo 5 minutos. Y la idea es que todos los integrantes del grupo tengan su espacio de participación y que haya una discusión. ¿Listo?
Ok, muchas gracias.
Listo. Okay, any other question or comment?
Profe, no pude escuchar como hace 3 minutos por el internet. No sé si respondió mi pregunta anterior en el chat.
¿Cuál era? ¿Puedes decirla, por favor?
Sí. ¿Cuánto tiempo, digamos, puede durar la presentación por lo que no lo especifica en la guía? Entonces,
Ok.
digamos, para no extendernos 10 minutos, 15 minutos, me gustaría saber lo apropiado.
Ok, sí. Acaba de preguntarlo también Shaori. Les decía mínimo 5 minutos, máximo 20. Yo diría que en 20 minutos, como va a ser una grabación, estaría bien. Entonces, 20
Súper.
minutos. And Carlos says it is a discussion in English, right? Yeah, of course. The discussion must be in English, please. In English.
Teacher, I have a question.
Mhm.
Teacher, usted dice pues que obligatoriamente tienen que ser todos los participantes
That's the
en
ideal.
el debate.
That's the
Y si
that's my
digamos
dream.
que ya, y si digamos que ya es como complicado que todos se reúnan, ¿cómo se podría hacer?
Yo creo que esas cosas tan específicas deben, primero traten de organizarse en equipo, traten de organizar una fecha, traten de prepararse y ya en última instancia acuérdenlo directamente con su tutor, ¿cierto? Porque si lo hacen en dos, digamos, si se divide el grupo de 5 en dos, ya serían 2 trabajos, 2 reuniones por evaluar. Entonces, traten de que solamente sea una. Ya si de pronto algún compañero no está en esta fase, que puede suceder que de pronto alguna situación personal y definitivamente no pudo participar, pues que lo digan en el foro. O sea, mi sugerencia siempre es que ustedes organicen todo en el foro, que ustedes propongan en qué fecha se van a reunir, cuándo van de pronto a... Me imagino que probablemente algunos necesitarán un tiempo antes de la grabación para ajustar a detalles de pronto, para sentirse más en confianza y después sí grabar en inglés, ¿cierto? Entonces, que todo eso quede en el foro, que están participando. De pronto, si alguno no respondió ya y le dieron tiempo para que participara y definitivamente no está, pues probablemente es que esa persona no ha podido acceder al curso, ya son cosas aisladas. Entonces, digamos que ya serían entre los 4 que sí estén participando activamente. Pero traten en lo posible que, pues, si todos están participando, todos puedan tener su discusión. Ya cosas específicas con su tutor, ¿sí?
Ah, listo, profe. Muchas gracias.
Okay. Yeah, here Veronica says in the chat that like a schedule or chronograma, yeah, you can organize your own schedule as a group. and you can, that's better for helping your partners to stay informed and to know where when they can meet and when they have to share the posts in the forum. So yeah, those are strategies, group strategies. Mhm, that's okay. To remember, the third web conference, it's gonna be on November 4th at this time again, 3 p.m. And in that last conference, we will talk about tax number 6. Okay. Don't forget that you can find the link to access the meeting in the Synchronous Web Conference meeting in the virtual campus. So, any other comments? How do you see the activity? Is it too long? It's gonna be easy. What do you think?
I think
Pues sí.
it's easy because we will practice our pronunciation and written.
Okay, good. Yeah, you will have to practice the pronunciation. You also will have to do the writing exercise, so that's good. Perfect. Is it clear? Perfect. Antes de terminar la grabación, recuerden, el enlace de Speaking Session está abierto. Entonces, no olviden inscribirse y que si conocen algún compañero de inglés 3 que esté por ahí perdido, díganle, inscríbase, porque esos Speaking Sessions les van a dar 30 puntos en tarea 4 y 30 puntos en tarea 6. O sea, son puntos adicionales a estos que ofrece la guía de actividades. Entonces, recuerden que ese enlace está abierto hasta octubre 5, que es, si no estoy mal, el domingo. Entonces, para que todos, ojalá todos los del curso se pudieran inscribir. Bueno, thank you so much for being here in this Let's Web conference. So, Shaori, you are raising your hand. Do you have another question?
Sí, los encuentros que vamos a tener en inglés suman puntos adicionales, pero si no se puede estar en alguna reunión, los resta.
Sí, claro. Sí, claro. Pues ustedes, mm, lo ideal es que una vez empiecen los encuentros en su grupo, ¿cierto? Porque como les dije, ustedes se inscriben y por ahí 1 o 2 semanas después los van a estar contactando por el correo institucional o por su Teams para que inicie. Lo ideal es que como ustedes escogieron el horario en que tenían disponible, pues puedan participar de forma juiciosa, ¿cierto? Normalmente son, ponle entre 14 y 16 encuentros en el periodo, porque son 2 encuentros semanales. Entonces, ya si de pronto en algún momento ustedes no pueden participar en uno, pero hablan con su tutor del encuentro, pueden, pues de pronto mirar si tiene alguna actividad adicional o demás. Esas son cosas que ustedes deben manejar con su tutor de los encuentros de Speaking Session, que no somos nosotros. ¿Sí? Ya ustedes sabrán quién es su tutor en su momento cuando los contacten, ¿sí? Pero pues, lo ideal es que, claro, ustedes participen en esos 2 encuentros semanales porque la idea es que ustedes tengan esa práctica continua, ¿sí? Eso les ayuda un poco a perder el miedo, les ayuda a estar entre pares, a ver que otras personas, obviamente, siempre nos estamos equivocando, de pronto a no sentirse tan juzgados como en una web que estamos tantas personas, en esos encuentros va a haber menos gente. Entonces, lo ideal es que puedan participar en todas, en todas. Si participan en todas y participar me refiero a interactuar, no solamente conectarse y que aparezca allí su foto, no, para esos encuentros deben tener su micrófono prendido y su cámara prendida. Pues traten de que cuando se conecten estén en un sitio donde puedan usar su micrófono, porque he visto algunas grabaciones y a veces hay lastimosamente estudiantes que dicen, no puedo prender mi micrófono, entonces están en un speaking session sin poder hablar. Entonces, pues sí, muy bien, practican listening, de pronto todo sirve, pero la idea de esos encuentros es que puedan hablar, que puedan conversar, ¿sí? Así sean interacciones cortas, pero que puedan hacerlo. Entonces, esa es la idea. Traten de participar una vez inicien, traten de participar en todos los encuentros que puedan. A ustedes los van a calificar con ese nivel de participación. Si les va muy bien, tienen los 30 puntos. Si no, pueden que les dé 28, pueden que les dé 25. Si faltan a una sesión, puede que les quede, por ejemplo, en 25 puntos. No les baja mucho, pero pues lo ideal es que estén en todos los encuentros. ¿Sí?
Okay, thanks.
Laura Daniela.
Sí, profe, yo quisiera saber, ¿cuándo es que comienza? Porque ahí en el campus virtual dijeron que a, que a la última semana de septiembre y comienzo de octubre. Entonces yo estoy confundida porque yo tenía un problema en mi correo y yo no me pude escribir anteriormente, apenas me vi
Inscríbete.
ayer. Ayer yo ya me escribí. Entonces yo ya quisiera saber cuándo es. Y si los tutores son estudiantes o son profesores.
Ahora te digo, más o menos 1 o 2 semanas después de que el estudiante se inscribe, los están contactando para que inicie. Entonces puede ser en 1 o 2 semanas. Como son tantos grupos, no todos empiezan al tiempo. Puede que haya compañeros que ya empezaron. De los primeros que se inscribieron, puede que ya están empezando. ¿Sí? Tú acabaste de inscribir, ponle 1 o 2 semanas, tienes que estar pendiente. Y las personas que orientan esos encuentros son estudiantes de práctica pedagógica de los últimos niveles de licenciatura en lenguas extranjeras.
Ah, listo,
Bueno,
profe. Y si no me contacta, por lo menos si no me llega ningún link, tengo que
sí,
dirigirme
sí.
a la tutora, ¿cierto?
Pasan 2 semanas y no te llega nada. Tú ya miraste tu Teams, miraste la parte de chats, miraste los equipos, miraste tu correo institucional y no recibiste nada, nos tienes que decir. Pónganle límite 2 semanas máximo. Bueno, no lo
Ah,
vayan a
bueno.
dejar pasar más.
Pero eso no afecta a
Y
mi calificación si me haya escribido en la
sí,
segunda, ¿no afecta o sí afecta?
o sea, no, si tú participas no va a afectar porque si empezaron en las
Ah,
segundas porque se corren 1 semana más, o sea, ellos deben garantizarte la cantidad de encuentros que se necesitan para tus 30 puntos, claro que sí.
bueno, muchas gracias.
Renson Josette,
Hello, teacher.
hello.
Hello, teacher. How are you? Teacher, I'm sorry to correct you. Just have a simple question. To do the recording, which timing or which percent do you gonna use? Use simple present or just we're gonna follow the guy about conditionals? But I'm not sure.
Okay, I guess you may have to use the past tense, yeah, but when you propose the innovative, what's the word? When you propose the didactic teaching method
Methodology.
or the methodology, but
Yeah.
in the activity guide is written innovative didactic teaching method. When you propose that teaching method, of course, that expression or the conclusion of the meeting must be written in simple present. Okay, so at the beginning, when you are describing your teachers, when you are saying, okay, my teacher was da da da, that's simple past, of course. But I guess once you are speaking, you will require to describe the methodology in simple present, of course. You know, when you are speaking, you are not just attached to just a tense, right? But you can use both of them. Hmm? Okay, so any other question?
No, teacher, everything is clear.
Okay, so I'll stop the recording here. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
teacher. Have a good
much.
evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much for participating in this second encounters. See you on November in the last web conference.
Bye, teacher.
Goodbye.
Thank you.